20 minutes after our initial mixing of the dough, and it should be ready for the next step where we can knead and then let it rise. So we pop off our airtight lid and we can see sort of, what the dough looks like. Doesn't look too crazy, kind of craggy and weird. So what we're gonna do now is knead to try to get to a nice smooth texture. So after we have a nice clean work surface, what we can do is, lightly flour it so we don't have too much sticking to the surface here. We can then ease out our ball of dough, plop it on the surface, and get ready to knead. So everyone has a different method. I like to kind of work my dough as if it's like a potter working clay or something, so I give it a little sprinkle on top and get ready to knead. I know kneading is one of the aspects of dough making that people are kind of apprehensive about, like, oh, it's a lot of work, I don't have a stand mixer, etc. This is really easy. All we're going to do is knead this for 30 to 60 seconds to get it to the texture that we need. So the way I like to do it, you can come closer if you'd like, is just kind of start pushing down, fold it back on top of each other, again on top. After a while you can kind of rotate the other way, fold it on top, push down, fold, push down, etc. Push down, give it a rotation, and do the same again. You can stretch it out if you need to. But, there's no real one method that you have to do. Everyone probably has their own method their grandmother handed down to how to knead a dough properly. But eventually we're going to try to get to a nice, smooth texture like this. So what we need to do now is just kind of get it, so there's a nice seam on the back. You can see it's kind of messy here. So what I'm going to do is just kind of go from the outside, push in with my fingers and kind of squeeze it up into the top. And you can kind of get the seam to all kind of converge on one spot. And then, not required for this, if you want to, you can get a unfloured surface, pop it on here, 2 cup, slide it to you, spin, do that a few times, and that'll also help kind of close the seam on the bottom of your dough ball so it looks, more like that. Not perfect, but if you need practice, now's a good time to do it because we will be using that method in a later step. So, we kneaded it for like 30 seconds, 60 seconds. All we're gonna do now is pop that seam side down back into our bowl or container and give it a nice airtight seal. And all we do now is let this rest for 2 hours and we'll come back. It should have expanded a little bit. We will divide it into our 3 dough balls and set them for fermenting overnight.